Hi everyone, my name's Jessie. I hope you've all had a good start to your spring semester. So just a little bit about me. I'm originally from Hamby, Texas, which is right outside of Abilene, about 2 hours west of Dallas-Fort Worth. I started in pharmacy in high school. I did our pharmacy tech program that we had available. From there, I passed my PTCB, and then I started at CVS in August of 2011, and I worked there as a pharmacy technician and inventory specialist for 10 years. And then starting in March of 2020, right before the pandemic started, I started working at a specialty pharmacy at Amita. And so I specialized in hematology and oncology, and I worked on doing prior authorizations for patients as well as acquiring funding, copays, grants, patient assistance programs through drug manufacturers, whatever they needed. From there, I worked at Pharma Group, which actually was kind of research in itself. So that's like safety monitoring and adverse effects. So your Visa safe text message that you may have gotten from the CDC after you got your COVID vaccine, if you did, then that information that was reported gets sent to the drug companies, and then we would compile that information, and that would then be reported onto the FDA. So then that vaccine actually wasn't approved until the summer of 2022. So the project ended up downsizing, and we were laid off. So from there, I just went ahead and applied to pharmacy school. I looked for a little bit, and so now I'm here. So how research can shape my career goals as a pharmacist, I would imagine that research involves developing a lot of specialized knowledge, essentially becoming a master in your field. And additionally, I would think that that knowledge could be applied towards like something like board certifications, as well as the people that you meet along the way. You could have various opportunities in academia, drug development, working with like different government regulatory agencies like the FDA. So research, I think, can contribute to the identification of populations at higher risk for certain diseases. And a great example of that actually is probably thalidomide. Thalidomide was a over-the-counter drug that was marketed in Germany in the 50s, and it was marketed for sleep problems, anxiety, and morning sickness, and so a lot of pregnant women took that medication. Turns out it was a racemic mixture of two different enantiomers, so if you remember, it's just mirror images of two different molecules, and one of those molecules causes severe birth defects in children. So something like 40% of children who took this who were born to mothers who took this medication ended up passing away at birth, and I think it was estimated like something like 10 to 20,000 kids died from this, as well as those who did survive. A lot of them had severe birth defects of their eyes, their limbs, urinary tract, and their like cardiovascular system. And so this in itself kickstarted, I think, a lot of what we've done with research. And I think it's a great example of why it's so important. So in terms of improvement in healthcare, in terms of cost, I think that research can be used to find cheaper treatment options, or analyze what the economic barriers to treatment are for patients. Additionally, I think that gaps or roadblocks in medication adherence could be determined even through the use of things like MTM. And then as far as access, I know that here in Michigan we've had a problem with it, especially with all of the Rite Aids closing. We have a lot of pharmacy deserts now, so I'm sure that a lot of research went into that, and the government actually approved satellite pharmacies here, which are pharmacies that are just manned by a technician in areas with less than one pharmacy, I think in like a 40-mile square radius or something. And so they're on a live camera monitored by a pharmacist who you can video chat if you need to counsel patients and whatnot. But I think that even the need for that was probably discovered through doing various research and realizing and recognizing, hey, like patients are having a hard time getting their medications. So all of that to say, thank you guys for listening, and I'm looking forward to working with you all this semester.